Huge Leaf win to start the season, but I think you might be wearing the wrong hat. No, buddy, I think you're wearing the wrong jersey. These videos are called Leafs Fan Reaction. Are you dumb? I mean, yeah, but not because of this. Let's go! It starts with an A and ends with anxiety. Off the charts levels of passion! That's just a nightmare! With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Had a little workout today, got a little stretch in, make sure I'm not rusty. The first of many Leafs win 5-2 over the Montreal Canadiens in their home opener. We'll get to the elephant in the room in a second, but first, my favorite game, NHL Fantasy Stars, is back for the 2025-2026 season. Download NHL Fantasy Stars from the Apple Store and on Google Play. It's free to play, runs daily, you can play it anytime. If you miss the nostalgia ripping open a pack of hockey cards, I had some very good luck with that this week, then this is the game you want to play. NHL Fantasy Stars, buddy, I'm telling you. Look for the thing, the icon, it's purple. When ripping open packs, you can get gold, silver, base, and super rare all-star cards. Naturally, I just went for Leafs. Here's how I did tonight, pretty good. The Capitals let me down, Ekholm and Fiala haven't played yet, Michelli got in there, Tavares had a nice night, Nyes had a very good night. Morgan Riley was unbelievable. A goal, an assist, 5 shots, a hit, and 2 blocks. That is what we call active. Game winner, no less. If you play NHL Fantasy Stars, you can play against me, Adam, and Jesse all season long. And again, it's all daily contests, so you can join at any time. Oh, I missed the first game. It doesn't matter. You're good. And right now, there's a new season offer. Get a free 10-player pack today. Download NHL Fantasy Stars on the Apple Store or on Google Play, or you can click the link in the description down below. Now, if you're new here, hello friend, Steve Dangle here, and welcome to the 19th season of LFR. LFR standing for Leafs Fan Reaction. I began this series when I was 19 years old in the bedroom I had in my parents' house with the baby blue-ish paint on the wall, and I started slowly putting thumbtacks in my parents' wall, and I know they hated it, but they let me do it anyway, and hanging stuff, and yelling, and making videos, and waking everyone up. I used to shoot the videos in the morning after most times back then. 19 seasons later, I've been everywhere. Worked at Leafs TV, CBC, the NHL Network when it was in the TSN studios. 9 years at Sportsnet. I worked for the KHL for a while. Have I ever mentioned I worked for the Toronto Zoo? I did. And a few years ago, my friends Adam Wilde and Jesse Blake and I branched out and made our own company, SDPN. It's a podcast network, and one of the shows that we have on it is the Steve Dangle podcast, and we're going to be recording that tomorrow and Friday. We stream most of the Leafs games. Adam streamed tonight. I'll be streaming Saturday. Jesse streamed the Blue Jays, and how about them Blue Jays? That loud snap you just heard was my hamstring. Your right one or your left one? Yes! Anyway, we do a lot of things, and I'm proud of those things. LFR videos are one of those things, and that's where it all began, and now you're here watching it in season 19, so thank you. Now, I had a feeling the Leafs were going to win their first game of the season. You can call that cocky. The Leafs often play the Montreal Canadiens in their first game of the season, and they often win it. But I have been dreading this game, and specifically this video, for weeks. Because a couple minutes ago, I said, we'll talk about the elephant in the room. Actually, we talk about the dog who's not in the room. Usually, when the Leafs win, I do a little segment called Victory Puppies, where I bring my dog Iggy into the room, and I throw him a treat, and sometimes he catches it, and usually when he doesn't catch it, it's my fault. Well, at the end of August, at 10 years old, Iggy passed away. It was sudden, he didn't feel much pain, and he was surrounded by people who love him, and I'm one of those people. Keep it together. A few years ago, it was 2 dogs. It was Iggy and Charlie. Charlie was an older dog we adopted a couple years after getting Iggy. And there's pictures of them all over my house. I get to see them every day, and in fact, you're looking at them right now. Just because Iggy and Charlie aren't around anymore doesn't mean we're not going to do Victory Puppies anymore. It's still Victory Puppies every time the Leafs win. Here's what I want to do. For every Leafs win this season, I'm pledging $20 to the Humane Society of Durham Region. And I encourage you to match that. You don't have to do it for Durham Region. That's just where I happen to live in Ontario. You could do it for the Humane Society where you live, you could do it for anything. Do something kind for your pets. Do something kind for others' pets. Do something kind for others in general. And if you think to yourself, $20, that's not very much. Well, last season, the Leafs had 52 wins. So if they went backward and won 50 games, that would be $1,000. So I don't know, pledge $1, pledge $2, pledge whatever you can do. I'll stop tugging on your heartstrings in a minute. I know times are tough. I want to raise money for the Humane Society of Durham Region. I am actively raising money for Easter Seals Ontario, which is a charity that helps out kids with physical disabilities. I do that every year, and I bother you for a little over a month, like 6 weeks. But if we can help out kids and pets, I think that's pretty cool. Okay, let me collect myself. So the Leafs opened their season at home against the Montreal Canadiens, forever rivals. It's a beautiful thing. Give it to me every single year. Okay, said the NHL. Over the years, over the Matthews era, the Leafs and Montreal Canadiens have combined for some of the most first game of the season games of all time. Defense? Never heard of it. A save? Not if your life depended on it. And then Sam Montembeault made 47 saves in a shutout last year. But so many of these games have been sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. This game, from both teams, yuck! If you were watching the Blue Jays and having a heart attack while doing it, I understand. Dude, neither team could complete a pass. Neither team could handle the puck. Neither team could do anything. I think half the players in this game played with a stick made of paper mache. Nick Waugh broke his stick receiving a pass. What? That's not a thing. Like, not even a particularly hard pass. And foreshadowing, that's how the Leafs would end up winning the game. It looked like the Leafs were going to have a much better game than they did, because after not being able to score on Sam Montembeault all game last year, they scored on him a minute in. But they tried this radical new strategy called not shooting it at his chest. Offensive zone draw, and if October games don't mean anything, nobody told John Tavares. Look at him battle for this face-off win. The man looks like the panicked Mr. Krabs meme. The puck squirts to William Nylander. He waits a little bit, and he puts it on. Bobby McMahon, lasers firing from his eyes, tips it in. The man who's got a rip-roaring shot doing the things that you need to do. He's big. It's like someone told him, hey, you know you're big, right? And he's like, no, I'm not really big. And it's like, Bobby, you hang around Matthew Nyes too much. Yes, you are. You might not look that big next to Chuck McAngus, but you are. And he decided he didn't quite go to the net, but it's go to the slot. He does go to the slot, and Lane Hudson is an extremely gifted, talented, skilled player who is going to have a long and fruitful NHL career, but he doesn't even have a hand on Bobby. Tipping pucks in is hard, but it's a lot easier when nobody around you is doing anything. 1-0 Leafs. Exactly a minute in, aesthetically pleasing. Only a few minutes later, Leafs get a power play. All right, let's have a look at that new look power. Oh, no. I know a lot of you were watching the Blue Jays game, and I can't show you the footage right now. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that was one of the most catastrophic power plays the Leafs have had in recent memory. They couldn't get anything going, and you're going to see some people talk about Austin Matthews' game in this one. I think he redeemed himself big time in the third period. This power play, especially from him, was awful. Leafs cough it up. Oliver Kapanen down the other way, scores. His first goal of the season, first goal of his career. Hey, is that guy Kapanen's brother? No. Well, unless he has a brother, then he would be Kapanen's brother. I assume his brother's name is Kapanen. Is he Kasperi Kapanen's brother? No, but he is his cousin. Were you paying attention? Did you understand all that? Okay, good. Just 5:39 into the game, 1-1. And that is how it would be after one. A relatively tame first period. They weren't like blowing the doors off with shots. There weren't really that many like crazy saves or scoring chances. There was some nice stuff. I thought Michelli looked good. McMahon looked good. Riley looked good. But there was no rough stuff, no mean stuff whatsoever. This game almost took a step back from like what we've seen in the preseason. Well, what we saw in the preseason was just the Lightning and Panthers beating each other with hammers. First period of this one, pretty tame. But just 90 seconds into the second, the Montreal Canadiens decided to liven it up a little bit, and they said, go to the net! What? Brendan Gallagher, who is still a thing and still very annoying, takes advantage of an errant Oliver Ekman-Larsson just sort of whack at the puck. Puts it on rebound. Zach Bolduc is there to put it away. Second straight player to score his first goal with the Habs, and it's 2-1 Montreal early in the second. Dude, I am mad at the Blues for that. If you don't know who Zach Bolduc is, dude, he was great for the Blues last year. And the Canadiens, who had Logan Mailloux as a prospect and super don't need him, especially after getting Noah Dobson, flipped him to the Blues for Bolduc. Maybe Mailloux ends up being something the Blues really need, but wow, is Bolduc so much more NHL ready already, and I know this because he's played more games and scored more goals, and he's the exact kind of player they need while giving up a player they just straight up don't need. They already have puck movers like Dobson and Hudson and Matheson, and you're spending 9.5 on Dobson. Why do you need Mailloux? It's a very good move from them. I hate it. But, just like the Habs in the first period, the Leafs tie it up in short order. A little fourth line action. Weird looking fourth line. With Scotty Lawton out, it's Steven Lorentz, Nick Waugh, and Kalle Järnkrok, who not all Leaf fans are absolutely in love with. He had a really good preseason if you watched. But going back to D, the D had more shots in the first period for the Leafs than the forwards did. Morgan Rielly gets the zone entry by deciding, I'm doing this all on my own. Fires it on, Montembeault makes the save, but it leads to a rebound and a brouhaha. Habs managed to semi-clear it, but Steven Lorentz, board battle, kicks it to Morgan Rielly. Rielly fires it on, and I just want to point out, this is 6 foot, 193-pound Kalle Järnkrok against 6 foot 4, 240-pound Arbor Jacki. Buries the rebound, tie game. The rest of the second period was mostly forgettable. The stuff that I do remember, though, was Toronto not looking very good. And that's when you start to see the chirps about Matthews, and obviously at intermission, Elliot Friedman pointing out, Austin Matthews doesn't have a shot on goal, which is the crazy stat that he laid out there was in opening games of the season, Austin Matthews averages 7 shots on goal. Averages! Well, luckily in the third period, I thought he and the Maple Leafs were a much better team. Steve, Matthews was a better team? I thought Matthews and the Leafs looked much better. There we go. Rusty. Okay. It's okay. We'll get him in the end. But it looks scary for a little bit. Matthews on his knees blocks a shot and it got him in a nasty spot. Leafs got a power play shortly after, and Matthews, his first shift since blocking the shot and being double overed on the bench, he decides to go out and play on a power play. Leafs didn't end up scoring on the power play, and I almost didn't care because I'm like, oh, whatever, Austin's out there and he's healthy. But nearly halfway through the period, the Leafs catch a break, literally. Lane Hutson's stick shatters.
Didn't realize Lane Hudson wore number 8. Bit rusty, eh, Steve?
Matias Maccelli, who made some sneaky good plays in this game, takes advantage. Manages to get it to Matthew Beef Nice. Partial break. Can't bury it, but who's waiting there? Morgan Actual Rielly. With a nice little bloop. Didn't completely rip it, just made sure the shot was true. Top corner. And you can tell that one was big for him. I mean, yeah, you get the lead at home in the home opener. You're going to feel good about it, but the narrative around Rielly is a very real thing. He did not have his best season last year. He might have had one of his worst. Were it not for his no move clause, who knows, maybe he wouldn't even be a Leaf right now. The Leafs have not been shy. Morgan Rielly has not been shy about saying he needs to be better. In this game, he might have been the best Leaf on the ice. And from that moment on, the Leafs, I thought, played their best hockey of the game. Nick Robertson, who had an up and down game, had one flub in the third period where the Leafs had a bit of a fire drill going on. But other than that, they were making it difficult for the Habs to cross the blue line. They were winning their battles. They were clearing the zone. They were generally avoiding icings. And Stoller's been a few saves. It's not the sexiest thing in the world, but it wins you hockey games, man. And that's what the Leafs did. Matthews with the hustle for the empty net goal. Hilarious. Tying Alexander Ovechkin for the most opening night goals of all time with 13. And William Nylander getting an early goal. Also with the empty netter to make it 5-2 Leafs, just like the Blue Jays. Question in the comments, which win was bigger? I think it's going to be close. No, but real questions. This isn't a question. I just wanted to shout out the Leafs for showing the Jays game on the Jumbotron after the game was done and letting fans stay. Listen, when the Jays made it 4-1, there was a loud "Let's go Blue Jays" chant in Scotiabank Arena, which in some situations would be embarrassing. The last time I remember Let's Go Blue Jays being chanted in that arena is when the Leafs were awful and fans were doing it because the Leafs were awful. That's not what they were doing this time. They're doing it because the Jays are awesome, and they followed it up with a Go Leafs Go chant. After the game, even Craig Berube said, "Go Jays." There was a very real cloud over this game, and I'm glad they got 2 points out of it, because it's a weird one. Like, everyone's mind was somewhere else. I'm only going to do one question because this is the one that most people asked. Riley was really good tonight. A few good shots, a goal, a good defensive play. I know it's only one game, but are you satisfied with what you saw? Well, it is only one game, and I was very satisfied with what I saw in that one game. Brandon Carlo really helps Riley out. I mean, like, I thought Chris Tanev was going to be Riley's partner forever. It didn't work out. You know, maybe if Jake McCabe gets hurt or something, that's what they end up doing. But you got to acknowledge Brandon Carlo's role in all this. Carlo was back. Riley, aggressive. Aggressive, but responsible. That's a motivated player, man. And I know, you know, they all make millions of dollars. They should all be motivated. Yeah, they all make millions of dollars, but not all of those people making millions of dollars have people saying that they suck. Riley's a proud guy, and Riley's a guy who scored 72 points and 20 goals once. He doesn't need to get back to 72 points and 20 goals in order to prove he can be part of a winning recipe here. One game does not make a season, but it was a very, very, very good start. So, my friends, that was the way too long first LFR of the season. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. Once again, I'm going to pledge $20 for every Leafs win to the Humane Society of Durham Region. And I'm encouraging you to do the same. That one's for you, buddy.